I grew up being the outcast.
Correct.
That kid always picked for trouble, always blamed for this, not really given an opportunity to speak, you know what I mean? And there were areas like my father always gave me that space, my granny, who I miss so much, my best friend ever, you know what I mean? It was always speaking into my life, but it was just everybody else around, certain family members and things. So
I want the listeners to understand a little bit more that just hit me is that, you know, when I lost my brother, I had a big argument with him the day before he took his life. And it took me a long time to tell people about it because I was ashamed of it.
All right.
Okay.
Let's go. We are here.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe it.
I know, but let's start off,
Yes.
you know, and I think it's symbolic of our connection and,
Correct.
you know, individually, but collectively. Let's start off with prayer.
Amen.
God, we just thank you for this time. We
Yes.
thank you for this day. We thank you for life. And I thank you for these individuals who are here gathered with me, Diana,
Yes.
D, you know, myself. God, I just ask you to come into this space where we are now and just saturate the room with your presence. Let our conversation flow, God. Let the people whose lives that are going to be touched by this podcast, these conversations, God, let them be transformed even now, God.
Yes.
And take this wherever you want to take it, God, all across the globe, all across the world, God.
Yes.
Because we want to do your will. We want to have impact in the
Above all
earth
else.
through the gifts, the talents that you have given us, God. So just direct us now. We thank you for victory.
Yes.
We thank you for smooth transitions. We thank you for just everything. And we totally annihilate any distractions, any illusions, God. We understand that these
Yes.
things are going to come, but we're going to focus on you. And we're going to rise and we're going to stay the course. In Jesus' name,
In
amen.
Jesus' name. Amen. 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 Amen.
All right.
That's how we do it in the old church.
Absolutely. Definitely.
Which is where we're both from.
Definitely.
What you said last night, what did you say? What was the word that you said? Tossed and driven.
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
Tossed and
then
driven,
we just
yeah.
started singing that song.
Right, absolutely.
We are tossed. I'm telling you that, I don't know about you, but for me, as I age, all of those old hymnals just hit me.
Oh my God, absolutely.
Hit me in a whole
Definitely.
that's what they were talking about.
Absolutely.
That's
Definitely.
a blessing.
No, without a doubt.
And it's a blessing that you are with that. Sometimes I think about, damn, my kids didn't even grow up with that experience. You know,
no, seriously.
They didn't have that old time religion,
Exactly.
gospel.
Exactly.
There's something about it. We all know that there's junk in it.
Of course.
It's junk in everywhere.
Everything.
But the old school, old time people just simply relying upon the
telling you.
unconditional love
Absolutely.
that God gives.
Absolutely.
That's
Even
a beautiful place to
and
be.
in times of uncertainty, you know, we always have them. Like now in the world, there's so much going on with
Right.
global warming. We got prices spiking on everything.
We got
But-
laws being made out of fear.
Exactly.
Trying to obliterate issues
Exactly.
of humanity.
Exactly. But we have more at our disposal now, and people are weaker.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't have the technology. They didn't have all the things. I mean,
Right.
we get all bent out of shape living in a house where we can go in several different bathrooms. You got different spaces you
Right.
can go into. And when they didn't have that, you can hop on the phone and literally take a view into anybody's life or whatever they're wanting to
Right.
allow you into with social media, but they didn't have that.
And no.
You know what I mean? They had to write letters. You
Right.
wanted to get a letter to a family member in another state, you had to write it, you know what I mean? And then take time to drop it off at the post office. But we have all these ways to stay and be connected, and people are so far distant.
Well, they're born distance from themselves.
Yeah.
Right? Because when you have all of that
Yeah.
to stimulate you, you fail to remember that the deepest stimulation comes from within.
Absolutely.
And what people had when they had no technology, I believe they were in a better place.
I agree.
Because they had the opportunity to just merely, purely rely upon space and time
Absolutely.
and God.
Yeah.
Right? And so with everything that's coming along, I believe that what we're doing in helping people to rise and stay the course
Yes.
is to know where that true source of power comes in. It
Absolutely.
doesn't come in from you plugging in your cell phone.
Of course,
and
absolutely.
looking at it the first thing in the morning time. Right? It doesn't necessarily come even just from listening from this podcast, right? Because we want to come alongside your daily practice of power connection.
Absolutely.
The connection that we all need does not come from necessarily being with other people, even though we know we are one another beings.
Of course.
I am not promoting distance and separation. I'm promoting connection with oneself first.
First, absolutely.
Right? And connection with God, and then everything else will be added to
No, that's
you.
so good. And talking about that, because like you said, we want to become an extension of the individuals who will tune in and connect with this podcast of their daily life's practice. You know what I mean? And that brings and sparks a point of just talking about rising and staying the course. That's what we've done in our connection. You know what I mean? I want you to just speak a little bit about how we met. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. When I was at an event and it was about diversity, which is the heartbeat of who I am before diversity, equity, inclusion became a household name. I heard that this person was referencing you all touchdown, right? Daryl and Thaddeus, and saying, hey, did y'all hear the phones? Did you hear the microphones pop one time?
Nah.
Negative.
Nah.
Did you see the videos glitch?
Nah.
No. Did you see anything go wrong with the production of this event? No. And of course, being the speaker that I am and the level of excellence that I unapologetically promote.
Right.
I said it was these guys. Of course, I ran for my life, right?
right. Yeah.
I ran for my life to you guys. And I was like, hey, who are you all?
Absolutely.
I need to know who you are.
Yes.
Immediately gave you my phone number and we connected at SIP and had a great conversation in Toledo.
Met your sister.
Instantly knew there was something unique about you, right? Specifically because, you know, as the listeners will know eventually, you know, I come from very rough circumstances, but the one thing that I really wanted was a brother.
Yeah.
And I did have a brother who unfortunately took his life. And instantly, there was something about you and Daryl that gave me this feeling of this surety, you know, this feeling that, oh gosh, these people have, you know, because here's the thing, I was praying for something I needed, right? I needed what you all have.
Yeah. Same.
And so we connected. We did an event together. It was off the charts, awesome. And then the pandemic hit, right? And my speaking, before the pandemic hit, you and I traveled to Miami University.
Absolutely.
Right? Because because what it is, I said, first of all, come on, you coming with me.
Exactly.
Right? You going to travel with me to Miami University. My son went to school there, and I was, you know, hired to be their keynote for an event. And it was just instantly, I knew I wanted to hang out with you, right? And we went, and then I was talking to you about meditation and why that's so important. And then the pandemic hit, and everything stopped. And then there was a issue where someone came to me, an illusion, a distraction, that said you were saying some things about me, and I lost it. Because I had brought you into my home, I brought you into my life.
Absolutely.
And I was just hurt. But also, I was hurting. I was going through a depression. I didn't know I was going through a clinical depression and anxiety. I lost 15 pounds. And because you and I had cut ourselves off from each other, I cut myself off from you. I didn't know that you were going through something similar.
Unbelievable. No.
And we needed that time of separation to heal, to connect with God, to really to know who we were.
Absolutely.
You know, to understand that we have a big call on our lives.
Huge.
And what I knew before was what was. It just, I wasn't ready for it.
Absolutely.
You weren't ready for it.
No, absolutely.
And this is what we need the listeners to understand, that there are going to be times in your life where you think this is it, and it might be, but there might be growing that you need to do.
No, you're absolutely right. Because I think about when you talk about the proximity of the relationship at the time, me, and again, as you talk about, the listeners will grow to know, I grew up being the outcast.
Correct.
That kid always picked for trouble, always blamed for this, not really given an opportunity to speak, you know what I mean? And there were areas like my father always gave me that space. My granny, who I miss so much, my best friend ever, you know what I mean? It was always speaking into my life, but it was just everybody else around, certain family members and things. So I grew up with this chip on my shoulder, feeling like, number one, I wasn't going to take nothing from nobody. I didn't really trust nobody. And, you know, there were just things that happened between me and my mom and our relationship that we grew further apart. And thank God that we've come together then. But then during that time, okay, I meet you and it's like, wow, this is what I've been waiting on. This is somebody who is right there. You know what I mean? You could have been my mother, you know what I mean? But also a big sister figure and
a young mother.
Yeah, right. But entrepreneurship, you know what I mean? You had that, the business acumen. Yeah. There were so many things that you were pouring into me, but as positive as it was, there were still things that I needed to heal from. You know what I mean? I had a lot more weight on me during that time. I was 200 and I think like 60 pounds at a time. And you know what I mean? Like just unhealthy, really just whether it was from drinking alcohol to not getting no sleep, no exercise, eating McDonald's 3 times a day, you know, no real practice or anything. But we connect and we start on this journey and I am so engulfed to the point to where the things that you were talking about and trying to instill, I was more focused on the fact that, no, I have this person now. And sometimes we can invest so much into the person or the relationship and not really extract the principles and the things that we need to from it. And now it spoils it. Yeah. And it's, you know what I mean? You got to be able to really take that time to reflect. And sometimes you need that distance so you can come back and be stronger than ever. And I believe that that's the place that we are now. And I am so grateful to God for our connection. And I know it's a life connection, right? Sometimes people come into your life for a season, but God will connect you with people that you are meant to do life with. And my sister, I know that I am meant to be doing life with you, your family, and it's just an amazing thing.
You know, and I want the listeners to understand a little bit more that just hit me is that, you know, when I lost my brother, I had a big argument with him the day before he took his life. Yeah. And it took me a long time to tell people about it because I was ashamed of it. Yeah. I didn't want anyone to know that I had a gigantic argument with my brother and then he jumps off the bridge the next day. Yeah. And the year before that, my brother tried to kill my mom. And my brother came into my now husband's home. And we were there to help rehabilitate him. Yeah. Get him counseling, get him to a certain level. And before that time, my brother is next to me in age. And I spent the majority of my adult life helping my brother. Yeah. People don't know that the amount of time, and my brother, as I've come to understand, really suffered on the spectrum. Wow. Right. And as I've done the research and, you know, started to realize the signs. And I was always there for my brother. And thick and thin. Yeah. I hated it because I was mad. Like, why I got to do this? Right. Why I got to be the one? Right. And I have 5 older sisters, and my brother was number 7. So I had a lot of resentment towards him. But then when that happened with him trying to kill my mom, you know, I went into action, which is what I normally do. But then I started teaching him some of the things that I knew. And I told my brother the day before he died, I said, you know, I was done with law school because I was like, it's not working, you know, because I had spending all my time with my brother and I didn't have the focus I needed. I was doing really bad in law school. I just started modeling again. And I had the opportunity to go to New York City to model. And so the argument that we had was I wanted my brother to come with me. Yeah, just come to get away. Be with me. We can do this together. Absolutely. We can do so many things. We can get out of here. We can go to New York City. We can live this life. We can, you know, travel and I can help. You can help me and we'll get you going. And of course he was like, I'm tired of you trying to tell me what to do. So what I've come to realize was in my heart, there was a piece of me that felt I owed society to, heal that, tension that I had never had resolution for.
Yeah. Never got that
But then there
closure.
was a process I had to forgive myself.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I think what I believe God gave me when I saw you was there was this, there was a click that happened when I met you.
Yeah.
That I was like, maybe this was, the opportunity for me to reconnect with you, to connect with you, like as a God moment, because I felt that peace, and
Absolutely.
And so it was just crazy as I was thinking about it, like, wow, that's pretty interesting, God. And maybe, is this the brother that you were saying that I, could see or feel? And everything you explained about your childhood is what my brother went through.
Wow.
He just never was taken seriously.
Yeah.
He was always ostracized. He was bullied. And the way that he dealt with his trauma was he dealt self-harm. And I think the way you dealt with your trauma was blocking people.
Absolutely.
And so what I know was when we reconnected, and it went really quickly, right? We reconnected, and then I had this event, and then boom, right? When you get back into alignment to where you need to be, and you get the focus on God and not on people, you start to, things come together. Like it's kind of even with bones, like if you really start to meditate and you pray, not only does your life and everything that, God is really trying to get you to come and align with him so that he can give you what it is that you most desire most.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it's the peace, right? That passes all understanding. You can't understand like, what? Oh, this?
I got all this going on. How am I
How's
peace?
This? So for me, I have, what people don't know is like, I used success and working and doing and going and being and doing and going to not have to really sit still.
Yeah.
But God, when the pandemic hit, he was like, no, I'm going to have you sit still.
Yeah.
And as I came out of that pandemic, I started seeing the number 35 and 53. See, God's always showing us the path.
Always.
I started seeing the number 35 and 53 every time I picked up my phone.
Yeah.
I was like, what is going on with this? What is this? What is all this? And so I feel like that was God's, and I saw it, if people really start to see like little things that come in their life, numbers, things that they see, like,
absolutely,
you
signs.
just know these are just little whispers, and God's always whispering to us and trying to, hey, I'm standing at the door knocking, I'm saying 35 and 53.
Yeah.
And so, of course, as I came out of that, then I'm like reconnecting with you, and then I'm like, wait a minute, how old are you turning, Thaddeus? Yeah. How old are you turning?
I am 34 now.
How old are you getting ready to turn?
35.
I rest my case, counselor. I rest my case. I'm just saying. Yeah, okay. No, I just had to get that out. Woo! Thank you.
No, absolutely.
Thanks for listening.
No, and like you said, there are always signs. Most times we're not paying attention because we're so consumed with people's problems, all the negative things. The other day, in my meditation, and we talked about that. I went on this journey in 2020 to start meditating, start journaling. I was just walking in my mind, like taking this walk through this place and seeing so many people hurting, right? There are people in the hospital. You really want to look at some things that you could really be down about, some things that you can be in your head about, and just be like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Just walk the floors of a hospital on the trauma floor, and really see some people. Take some time not to just ride by and judge, but look at some people that are homeless on the streets, nowhere to go. They don't know where their food is coming from. We're right now, we're in the summertime, and it's 80, 90 degrees, almost feeling like 100 with the humidity. People have nowhere to go. They have no family. They've lost their minds. And those of us who have all of these things, we got more stuff, but we're unhappy. But it's because we don't come back to that place of centering, that place to get quiet. I struggled with that for a long time, feeling like I can't meditate.
Yeah.
There's no way I can meditate. You know what I mean? Getting quiet, I feel like I'm going crazy.
Yeah.
But it's because I didn't really know me. And I was basing me off of what it is that I done, my talent, my gift. If I could show up here and people say, oh, I see you doing that, I see you doing that. But at the end of the day, that's not me knowing me. I get to know me when I can really get quiet, and these things that I've compartmentalized and I've placed in areas, whether it be traumas, hurts, things that I don't like, situations, and I can just sit with that, get quiet, and I can say, you know what, I don't want to talk. I just want to focus on my breathing. And God, you do a work within my heart.
Yeah.
You do the work within me. So that way, and help me to know you more, because if I become one with you, now I can become one with myself. You know, a lot of people use different things. At the end of the day, you know, we are Christians. Our faith is built in God. But whatever it is, a lot of people believe in the universe. Some people, you know, they believe in a frog in their backyard. Whatever it is, you know what I mean? But I just want, and I believe you want the same, I want for us as people to heal. Black, white, Asian, you know what I mean? No matter nationality, age, we need to heal. And the way that we get there is by getting quiet, being mindful, and also the connections. Who are you connected to? You know, our frequency and energy, anytime we get together, whether it's for dinner, we had dinner last night. We had lunch yesterday, a meeting, which was, I left feeling refreshed, revived, right? Then we met for dinner. But the reason, and it's not a thing of, oh, we're just getting together to just get together, but I leave feeling like, number one, when I go back to pray, there are things that are going on, even if there's heaviness around us, I leave feeling like, okay, God, there's more for you that you have for me to do.
Well, let's take that and run with it a little bit, because a lot of people don't get that. If we look at the life of Christ and the leadership principles that he laid out for us, is that, one, he knew within his heart there was something that I have to do. And it won't leave me alone. And guess what? We all share that.
Absolutely.
All of us, from the time you take your first breath, there's something within you that you've been preordained to do, and you have to figure it out. Now, you can read the Bible, you can read the book The Alchemist, they'll all say, in every story that's a really good story starts with that principle.
Absolutely.
Superheroes, all of them. They all have something in them, right? From there, they start to realize that the best way for me to figure that out is for me to kind of like get quiet. You know, I gotta, because it's often when you're like driving in silence. Some people say when I'm in the shower, I feel this way. Some people say when I'm driving my car, I feel, it's when you get quiet. Absolutely. You know, it kind of talks to you right before you go to bed, right when you first wake up, all of those kinds of things. And then from there, Jesus did, I think I need some people around me that I can hang out with and dine with, talk to, go to the club, you know, whatever it is.
Go to the park, take a walk.
Go to the park, go take a walk, and just talk about this thing called life.
Absolutely.
Then the other thing he realized was, but then I gotta leave y'all alone. Because I gotta go over here and get quiet.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And then not only do I want to go back to you, we got to go into the masses.
Without a doubt.
We got to go out to the people where the people are.
That's so good.
All of the people.
Absolutely.
Not just some of the people who look like us.
Absolutely.
Some of the people who act like us. Everybody.
Everybody.
To the ends of the earth.
Yes.
And then what he realized was, oh, okay, because I'm not doing a service unless you realize that you can do the same.
You can do the same.
Every single one of you has the power within you to do it.
And he came.
And by the way, I am not the type of person who's so high and mighty that I can't just be in any kind of space. I don't need a special parking spot.
No.
I don't need a title.
No.
I don't need special clothes. I don't need any of that.
I ain't got to come in no special door.
And a special door. Adorn
absolutely.
me.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Because what I know is I don't need all those things.
No.
Like what people, technology, which is great.
Yeah.
But I don't need all those things to have power.
No.
Because the power is within me and it's within you. This is what we're called to do.
Absolutely.
This is called rising and staying the course. Because in order to consistently rise, not like rise because I had this interesting idea and then it's a flash in the pan idea.
Exactly.
And then you rise up and then you smash down. That's not called staying the course.
No.
You might rise for a minute.
Absolutely.
But because your source of strength is not properly aligned, you won't consistently rise.
Exactly.
Because you took all the focus off of what was really the true source of power.
Absolutely.
And you plugged into other things.
Absolutely.
But according to Jesus and that, and again, you can see that in that. So the best leadership book, in my opinion, is the Bible.
All day.
I feel like that has given me all of the categories.
Absolutely.
And I've read some. There are, and we will talk about it on this podcast. We've got some amazing books for you to read.
Yeah.
And again, if whatever path you are taking in your life, and you realize that there's no consistent way you are actually coming back to center, then this podcast is for you.
Absolutely.
Because you need to understand that you're going to be given some amazing ideas. You're going to do you are called to do amazing things with your life. You can't even comprehend the phenomenal capacity that is within you.
Exactly.
But if you're not listening and really being about the methodologies, tools, and practices that are going to help you rise and stay the course, you're going to fall off.
Exactly. And also with that, I'll close with this. I believe that when you talk about staying the course, we have to be prepared for the unknown.
Correct.
How you prepare for the unknown, and I'm learning this every day, but the only way up is down. Mm-hmm. So whenever I'm trying to prepare for what's next, I get on my knees.
Correct.
When things are going so good, we start out on things. Me and Dee have been, talking about doing things. We talked about this podcast when you were doing Rise. It was like, hey, we're going to do this. I was seeking God all the more. Things were coming together, and of course stuff comes up. But when things are going so good and it's like, okay, what's next? I got to get on my knees, because that not only, it doesn't tell me what's coming, but it prepares me, because every day there's a new fight. Mm-hmm. There's something today that I have to fight. You're going to have to fight. Those watching us are going to have to fight. Mm-hmm. That'll be different than tomorrow. Mm-hmm. There's something up the road. And the only way that you can be prepared is to be one with the ultimate creator, with God. You got to go down to go up and stay in that place and realize that come what may, whether people are clapping, whether people are saying, good job, we're for you, we're behind you, or not, you got to stay the course. Whether you feel good in your body, you got to stay the course.
Yeah.
When you set out to do something, whether it be you have a workout regimen, making time to meditate, reading the Bible, reading a book when you don't feel like it. Okay, I don't feel like, I'm not going to read a whole chapter tonight. I'm going to just take 2 paragraphs and I'm going to repeat these 2 paragraphs to the point to where I'm tired and I fall asleep on that. I'm staying the course.
Yes.
And I got to keep going no matter what. And that's the thing that I believe that we are going to help equip people with these tools, our transparency, and those individuals that we invite on. We just want to really let that get deep down in your soul and your spirit, because it's so important.
Joy, happiness, contentment, peace, and this feeling of, excitement and expectancy and an eagerness is something we're all seeking.
Yes.
And I really feel that we can have our best opportunities if we realize that you have to come from that space to get. So even if you're not where you want to be with your weight, even if you're not where you want to be on your job, even if you're not where you want to be and you're seeking that, you have to find a way to know that it's already done.
It's already done.
But you have to live in that space of joy and peace and contentment along the way.
Absolutely. Or live in that place of despair, right? You know what I mean? You think about Jesus knew that he was going to ascend. He knew that he was going. Moses, you know what I mean, unsure, but in the wilderness. He was told, you got to practice there.
You got to practice
But at the end of the day, made a promise.
Yeah.
Abraham was unsure. God told him, I'm going to bless you. Didn't tell him when, but you staying the course.
Stay the
You know
course.
what I mean? You look at where you are now, and you know what I mean? You've been married how long?
25 years.
25 years. You know what I mean?
Been with the same man for, a long time.
Amazing, man. Shout out to my man, David.
Shout out to my baby, David.
Absolutely.
I love you,
But
baby.
you know what I mean? It was already predestined when you guys were, you know what I mean, broke and struggling, trying to get it done. Him getting his business off the ground, you going to law school. It was already done.
Yes.
But you had to feel those moments of feeling afraid and I don't know if I'm going to make it. I don't know if it's... You feel that, but doubt nothing that I'm coming out of this.
Yeah.
Because it's bad right now. I feel that. And this is why journaling is important.
Yeah.
Document it. Because when you come out, now this is how you share your testimony to push others and help them to say, okay, I'm dealing with something. But now, you know what I mean, I can go and reference this, whether it's in a book, whether it's something shared on social media or whatever. But these are the things that we have to use, and we have to be in that moment.
That's right.
But also always believe. And I'm just excited for what we're doing. This is amazing, right? This is the first
so
of many
good.
episodes.
Listen, I can't when this podcast coming out because I can't wait to listen to this.
Right,
my
you and me both. Absolutely.
I'm gonna be running. I'm like, dang, he sound. Yep, you right.
Yeah.
It's
DP was
exactly
talking
what
right.
I know I need.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful.
No, I'm grateful too. I love you, my sister.
I love you, my brother.
This is the beginning of
Let's
an
go.
amazing
Rise
journey.
and stay the course.
Yeah, rise and stay the course. We love y'all.
Love you.
Peace.
Peace.